podcasting. That's right, you heard it here first. I haven't seen anyone else saying this, but I truly believe, and I'm not just trying to be dramatic, but I actually believe that a podcast could be and likely is the best way for you to continue to get your students' content in an effective, accessible, and easy way. And I'm going to tell you exactly why in this video. So everyone is talking about using Zoom and pre-recorded lectures to keep your students up on content during a campus closure. In fact, I've made videos about it, and in the last video, which you'll find in the link or in a link down below in the description, I tell you exactly why that's a bad idea. And I believe it's a bad idea. If you're having to build content from scratch, Zoom and pre-recorded lectures are bad ideas. Why do I think podcasting is the best, most accessible, and easiest to implement way of keeping your course content going? Well, there's a number of reasons. Podcasts, more than any other digital medium right now, more than blogs or videos, anything like that, actually facilitate long-form content discussion, and people listen to them. People will sit on a Tim Ferriss podcast for 2+ hours. And I'm not saying you should do a 2+ hour podcast, but the fact is people spend more time listening to podcasts than they do any other digital medium. Podcasts facilitate content digestion really well. Your students can pause. They can skip backwards. They can skip forwards. They could speed it up. They could slow it down. They could stop. They could return to it. They could listen to it as they drive home. They could listen to it at the gym. They can listen to it while cooking dinner. They can digest your content and engage in your content in ways that they can't in any other medium. And that's one of the things that makes podcasting so powerful. You can't do those things with a Zoom meeting or a pre-recorded lecture. And one of the reasons that people are suggesting that Zoom and pre-recorded lectures are such great solutions is that face-to-face, that camaraderie, that connection that you get, being able to actually look at someone and hear their voice. And how many of you have listened to a podcast where you feel like you're sitting there having a conversation with two people? There's a reason podcasts are so hugely popular, is it allows people to feel connected and listen to information in a way that they can learn and meet a lot of their kind of needs for connection. So why is podcasting more accessible? And there's a number of reasons. And the first is that an audio file is much smaller than just about any other digital media file. Downloading or streaming a podcast requires relatively little data. And so your students could stream a podcast or download it at a much lower rate than otherwise. And if your students have limited internet access, they could go online once a week or to a coffee shop or wherever they can find internet, just one time a week, download your podcasts, and then they have access to their course content from there out. They could listen to it anywhere where they're not connected online. And that's one of the things that makes it really powerful. Beyond this, I can almost guarantee you that the majority of your students are more familiar with how to find, access, and listen to a podcast than they are how to use Zoom. I would guarantee it. And you might be saying, but I need visuals. I can't teach without visuals, and visuals are very important. And again, remember, we're not in an ideal situation. We are trying to find the best solution for the situation that we're in. And what you can do is, just like in your lecture, you could prompt them through PowerPoint slides. So at the beginning of your podcast, you say,
turn to page 394.
We will be going over the Newton's Laws PowerPoint. Boom, they have the PowerPoint. All right, slide 1. Talk, 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 talk. Slide 2. Talk, 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 talk. So on and so forth. You prompt your students through the visuals, or you provide the visuals as a PDF or an image file or some other sort of smaller digital file that they have easy access to. You could create a PowerPoint of what you want to talk about with all the visuals you want them to see, and then prompt them through it with the podcast. Taking accessibility a step further, if you use a free tool like Descript, what Descript does is, as you record your podcast, as you record your audio file, it will automatically transcribe it on screen. And you could look at exactly those words and what it shows, and you can edit it and make sure it's clear and polished. And even if you don't edit, it's better than nothing. But now, at the end of your recording, you can have a Word or PDF transcript of your lecture, and your students can read that. And that's an even smaller file. So maybe even the podcast isn't accessible, but Zoom will not auto-transcribe. Pre-recorded videos won't auto-transcribe. You could upload it to YouTube and download the captions that YouTube makes, but Descript does a better job. And so you're creating a lecture, you have more time to get the content you need, and you're creating an alternative method that requires almost no data that your students can access. So now you have a transcript available with it for free. And continuing with the power of that transcript is, if your university or campus or school gives you access to the software Kurzweil, you can put that transcript into Kurzweil and translate it into any number of languages. You could have a Spanish, French, German, Italian, Hmong, Chinese, Japanese. You could have translations in a ton of different languages for whatever needs your students have. And you could do that in less than 30 seconds. Once you have the English transcript, getting translations is really fast and easy with Kurzweil. Now, the translation might not be perfect, but again, we're not in a perfect situation. And the fact that you have transcripts in multiple languages for your students puts you leaps and bounds ahead of most in-class classes. You are now more accessible than you were even before you went on this break. And so you might be thinking, I don't know how to do a podcast. Well, it's pretty darn easy. Descript is free and lets you create an audio file and transcript. Anchor.fm is a free hosting platform that automatically sends it out to all the main podcasting players. So Apple, Spotify, Google, etc. You don't have to do anything to it. So you create your file with Descript and you upload it to Anchor. Done. It's probably easier, and I truly believe this, than creating quality videos or live lectures. You're going to do a better job. And if you could have good quality audio content, it's going to be more meaningful than an okay quality content video or live meeting. And maybe you want to make it even simpler. Anchor.fm has an app. Download it to your phone. It allows you to record your podcast. So just click record, talk, upload it. Done. Done. You don't even have to use Descript. It's easy. It's easy, easy, easy. You don't need a webcam. You don't need a camera. You just need your phone or your iPad or even your computer. Whatever you have that has a mic on it, you can podcast with. Now, talking about mics, if you're going to go with this, get a decent mic. Just a decent one. I did a video about the importance of microphones, and I'll have it listed down below. But I'll also list a couple of microphones I recommend that are cheap. $20 or less gets you a nice little lapel mic. If you already have your Apple headphones, just the wired connected ones, those are great. Or AirPods. Use things that you have around that have an isolated mic, and your quality is going to be better. And the final benefit here that I want to talk to you about why you should do it as a podcast is, if you create this, you now have a digital repository for use in all of your future semesters. If next semester you have a student miss a particular lecture, point them towards the podcast. Give them the transcript. You can even just have transcripts associated with each of your PowerPoints so that students who might have trouble keeping up with you in lecture can have that along with it. And it ultimately makes your course more accessible today during this closure and all the way into the future, into next semester when you're back face to face and things have normalized out. Doing it this way is such a great idea. I really think you should deliver your course content as a podcast. So if you're thinking about doing it, let me know in the comments below. Let me know the course and if you're going to try it out. And if you're like, okay, you mentioned all these great tools, but I still am not sure exactly how to do it. They all have great tutorials and resources, but if you want to see an exact video, how to step by step, button by button, I have it in my temporary digital pedagogy course at epichighered.com. You can find the link down below, but it is everything you need to know to get your course online and make it as good as you can and get you through your 2-week closure or your 6-week closure or however long things last. Beyond that, it will teach you all sorts of great tools and resources and tricks and just methods of digital pedagogy that you could use going all the way forward into more semesters if you want to improve your courses. I think you'll get a lot out of it, and I hope to see you over there. Thank you so much for watching. I wish you and your students the best of health, and I can't wait to see all the podcasts that start popping up from instructors like you who want to get their course materials to their students in the best, most accessible, and easiest way.